All right, hey everyone, this is Austin Schur with We Write About Music, and today I'm here with Sean Tillman, probably better known as Har Mar Superstar, and he's fresh off the release of his seventh album, Roseville. Sean, first off, I want to probably be the millionth person to tell you already, but Roseville is next level amazing, and congrats
Ah,
on this release.
thank you so much. That feels really good to hear. It's been so long, even though we kind of like made it pretty quick, it's just always really nice to hear that after all the work you put into it, kind of going crazy, like just waiting for the day people can actually hear the music.
Seriously, I'm sure of it. Well, I've got a ton of questions to ask about it, but first, I'd love to know how you are and how you've been since release day.
I'm good. I finally like got a full night's sleep the other day, and that felt really good. And I've been like steady working through the whole thing, just delivering mail and all that stuff. So
Right, right.
it's been like a whole crazy week, but I've had plenty of time to just like um, check in with people and make sure everything's going smooth. And I just listened to the test pressing, so that feels really good. And yeah, right after we do this, I'm going to go to Ryan Wilson's studio where they make all the Police and Gangs records and stuff.
Awesome.
Check it one more time before I do the final approval, and then we're good to go.
Cool, cool. That's all great to hear. I'll let you know from my perspective that it's absolutely consumed me since Friday.
Uh,
I saw that you had a listening party over the weekend, which is
yeah,
great. And I mean, I'm looking forward to having a listening party of my own once
yeah.
everything cools down a little bit over here. But I will let you know that I did take my mom to get vaccinated this weekend, and we listened to it, and so she loved it. So you can
Yes.
officially tell people this album is mom approved, at
Yeah,
least
that's
by
big.
my mom. Uh, Now, seriously though, I feel like no matter what genre of music you enjoy or how old you are, there's something for you on this album. Was that sort of the intention to hit the wide spectrum of sounds, or did it kind of just end up that way?
It just sort of happened that way. I kind of wanted to go for like I don't know, the word classic kept popping up in my head, and I was like, how can I make like a classic album, which is probably sounds kind of full of yourself when you're like making an album, but like, I just wanted to like make something that was like kind of not from any real era, but harken back to a lot of different ones.
Yeah, I'd say you definitely hit the wide spectrum of like 60s, 70s, 80s sounds, and there's futuristic sounds on there too. It transcends years.
Ah,
So,
nice.
yeah, I wanna get into some of the songs. For me, there are a ton of standouts, but I'd love to hear from you on which song was most difficult to nail down. Really, like the song that it was finally completed. You just said finally, like this one's done.
I think Another Century was the one that like sat kind of unfinished for the longest.
Okay.
It's the third song on the album, and we jammed it out in a room before COVID kind of struck, because I was gonna make the album, with the whole band in the room, kind of co-writing everything with everyone, and that just wasn't possible after a while. But one that we got to do that with was Another Century, and me and Ryan Mock and Aaron Baum and Adam Hurlbert were all just in a room. I was playing keyboards, and we just wrote that song, and it just kind of felt like half done, even though I really liked it a lot. And so I was talking to Jackie Vinson and Cam Franklin, who was the singer of the Suffers, and trying to kind of just tweeting, and they were talking about how they wanted to like do something on the album, and I was like, I have the song that needs something. And so Cam nailed her vocals and made it a duet, rewrote her verse, and Jackie just like crushed on guitar over the whole thing, and just like effortlessly. She's amazing. Yeah, once we got that back, we were like, holy shit, this is like 10 times better than I thought it could have been. And I'm really proud of that one for sure.
That's awesome. I was actually going to ask about the featured vocals on that track.
Yeah.
Cammy's amazing. I saw the Suffers open for Lake Street Dive like 2 or 3 years
Oh,
ago, and
awesome.
I'd never heard of them. I just decided to get to the show early, and they absolutely blew me away. So it's
Yeah.
really cool you get that feature on there.
Yeah. I was really, really psyched about that.
That's awesome. Yeah, another thing was, obviously your vocals are impressive on this record, but I wanted to talk about the band a little bit more.
Yeah.
The
Yep.
instrumentation on the record, I feel like can only be described as grand and impressive.
Yeah.
But who is there a specific production person or band member that kind of put it over the top? There's a ton of horns on the album, so
Well, yeah, actually, Ryan Mock plays drums in the band live, and Aaron Baum plays synths in the band live, and they kind of took over as the producers. So they did so much, and Ryan mixed it at his house, and I think it really just all came together. Everybody's so talented, and so like we played together so much that there wasn't much direction that needed to be given, but
okay.
I think handing off the tracks to the horn players, Nelson Devereaux and Jake Baldwin, was like huge because they're kind of are multi-instrumentalists. They play like multiple horns and woodwinds and stuff, and do like crazy backup vocals all over the record too. So handing them the stuff like really cemented a lot of the songs, and they just came through amazingly, and everybody's in a million projects, and I'm just super happy that everybody found the time. But Adam Hurlbert plays bass, Ethan Elseth is the guitarist, and everybody just showed up. And I produced a couple tracks with John Fields, who I did the whole album The Handler with,
Mhm.
and he nailed it on Solid Ghost and Hearts Have Misspoken. And Ryan Olson and I, who I mentioned earlier, did Patchwork Prisms together. So
Oh, nice.
yeah.
So you had a ton of help, it sounds like,
Yeah.
but
It was
everyone
all like,
really brought their A game.
yeah. And it was all kind of like either one-on-one or just people doing stuff on their own and emailing it in sort of thing. And so it was kind of like, well, let's just see how this works. I think
Right.
whatever we make is going to be cool. But by the time it all was done, it just sounded like a fully produced, like Hollywood record somehow or whatever. I don't know how you'd say it.
Seriously, you'd never be able to know that it was happening from, I can only assume, all over the world, people living
Yeah.
in there. Yeah, I was gonna, I mean, I hadn't planned on asking, but in a normal world, like, are you recording in a studio 100% of the time, or are tracks coming in from every which way and piecing them?
Late, in the last 10 years, it's been a lot more of like, people sending in their parts, with not like
Yeah.
exclusively like this record.
No.
So it came together differently than it would have. My idea was to have everyone in the room for the record,
Yeah,
like recording
of
sessions,
course.
and then obviously the one thing we can't do, it happened. So but I'm really happy. I think like we wouldn't have made the record we made if we didn't have the limitations and the
Right.
drive to get past those.
And I think it allows for a lot more collaboration. It just becomes a lot easier, and everyone's probably sitting at home waiting around. So if they can put in their 2 cents, then it just makes it a little bit better.
Yeah, it gave everybody time to like come up with just different things, and everybody just
Mhm.
sort of like experimented as much as they wanted to and could. And yeah, so
Yeah.
zero complaints. I'm
Oh,
super
yeah,
happy.
none. Yeah, considering that there's so many like genre and decade influences on the record, as I said, what were you listening to, or what have you been listening to kind of get in that headspace?
It's hard. Like when I'm actually in the middle of making a record, I don't listen to anything. I kind of realize that
Oh,
it's just like podcasts and stuff. But uh I try to go from memory. Like when I'm like, I want this vibe of this song, I don't listen to the song. I just kind of remember what I think it is. And that's why
yeah,
it's not a complete rip off or cop of it, because it's just like from my weird distorted memory of what it would be. And so like my
right.
interpretation is what it comes out of. But I think the song that I really like discovered what the vibe of the album would be was I Saw the Light by Todd Rundgren. I like heard that song and was like, why isn't there music like this happening now? Because it's like my favorite era of songwriting, just that kind of like light, airy music with like kind of like a lot of the times like darker lyrics coming underneath, such as like Gilbert O'Sullivan and stuff like that, and like maybe like Paul Williams. I think like I take a lot from the music he wrote for the Muppets and and for and like Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas and that kind of stuff. So
Nice. I get that though, because I guess listening to other music while doing it kind of opens you up to possible plagiarism, and
yeah,
I've
exactly.
heard that before, where it's just like, yeah, I heard this bass line, and then it just magically appeared in the record. So
Yeah,
yeah,
just things just like seep into your consciousness, and it's not like
true.
I'm consciously trying to not listen to music. It's just that I'm
No,
like
no, no.
concentrating so hard on other things.
The
So
focus is on the project
yeah,
at hand. I
yeah,
get it. So yeah, and we write about music. The main focus really is to bring attention to those who have most likely never received press or attention to their music.
yeah.
Obviously, this doesn't apply to you, but I'd love for you to shout out a few artists who are in that sort of undiscovered, need to be listened to camp, if you have.
Yeah, I'd say, well, there's a couple local artists, and that was Figgy, my dog. You might have recognized that bark from
From
Patch
the
Adjustment.
song?
Yeah. um, I would say in Minneapolis right now, some of the people I'm most excited about are a band called Gully Boys. They're fantastic. Kind of just like a three-piece, their friendship comes through in their music. I don't know, it's hard to describe. It's like they're just these three kind of, they call each other brothers. They're all kind of like across the spectrum of gender and everything, and lack thereof,
Hmm.
and I love them. And then I'd say there's a rapper in town that makes like really great pop music called Nerdy, NUR-D. He's like kind
Okay,
of blowing up in Minneapolis right
that's
now.
awesome.
Yeah, he's great. I'm trying to think, I've been like rediscovering a lot of old friends music,
Hmm.
like FACS from Chicago.
Okay.
um, uh, Brian Case, the guitarist and singer of that band, is an old friend of mine. Back in Calvin Crime days, we used to tour together when he was in 90 Day Men, and so I've been ordering everything he puts out and loving that stuff. And God, I'm trying to think of what else is kind of popping up that's new. There's always so much.
I mean, it sounds like I've got plenty of homework at this point for the rest
Yeah,
of
yeah,
my days.
mhm,
So, no,
totally.
that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm definitely going to check those guys out. It's always nice to hear kind of fresh sounds and who's blowing up locally, especially
Yeah,
now. I know it's just, it's never been easier to make music, but I feel like it's also never been harder to get discovered because everyone can make music.
yeah, everything's just out there, and there's just so much swirling around. Where are you right now?
I'm in LA, so,
What city are you in? Uh-oh.
and
I feel
oh,
like,
can you hear me?
sorry, I feel like you yeah, I can hear you. I guess.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
there we
I'm in
go.
Los Angeles.
Uh-oh. You're kind of freezing up.
Ooh,
Oh, you're Los Angeles. Okay, cool.
yeah.
There we go. Now we're back.
Okay. Yep. I'm in
Cool.
LA.
You
Let me
keep
know.
you keep freezing for me.
Oh, shoot.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
I can hear you.
All right.
Yep.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm in LA, so plenty of music out here. Not necessarily at the moment, but hopefully in the very near future.
Yeah.
And yeah, that kind of brings me to my next question. Looking towards the future, you've now got this massive discography. I mean, you had a big one before, but how are you going to go about creating set lists? Like what stays and what goes?
It's hard to say, it's kind of like at this point, it's like making a greatest hits kind of set every night, which is
Kind of.
awesome, and I
Yeah.
think like we're also excited to play so many of these songs live that I don't know, it's like we don't really want to ever play too long. I kind of hate going to a show that goes forever and ever and ever, and like, so it's kind of like
Yeah.
one of those things where a solid hour and 15 minutes is kind of like the sweet zone right now with all
Yeah.
the
Well, you
the
got to
stuff we
pace
have.
yourself.
Yeah, I don't
That's,
know, maybe it's
yeah.
one of those things where we'll start like an online poll or something, see what people want to hear,
Yeah.
see maybe some older tracks and things like that we can pull back out that we haven't played in a while. But after this whole pandemic, it's kind of like a reset. So
Totally. I
I
know,
think
I
that,
think I read an article with you saying like you don't want to be at the forefront of
mm,
touring, basically. Like you don't want
no,
to be the person to get back out there, and I completely understand
yeah, it's
the
just for the
process.
band and for just getting in a van and checking into hotels. You just want everyone to feel safe, and also the audience for
Totally.
sure, mainly. And it's like, so we're just, we'll take our time. I think we're going to
Right.
start playing locally again, and by November for sure, if not like some outdoor things
Right.
here and there this summer, if there's, everybody's had a chance to have the vaccine and fully
Right.
kind of accept it into their bodies and things. So,
Of
it's
course.
yeah.
Um, have you fantasized at all about like a new stage setup or something you want to do differently, or just like,
I've
no,
thought
I
about a
just
lot
I
of
feel like
stuff.
these songs are, they have like more of a mature sound. Not that I'd ever want you to change your show, but I don't know.
Yeah,
What are you
it's hard
thinking?
to say. I mean, there's always like things that I brainstorm, and they come together in a, at the last minute. I don't, as far as like, I don't know, the songs just kind of speak for themselves. So hopefully we can kind
Right.
of like, just step it up performance wise, and there's always like dance moves that I want to like incorporate and teach the
Of
band and
course.
stuff like that. And it kind of all depends on how the set gets structured and what size venues we're playing and stuff like that. And
True.
so, who knows what's going to be happening in a year.
I don't know what I'm thinking. My God.
Hopefully all
Yeah.
positive things, but
Yeah. No, I can only, even getting in a venue and sing live music, you could stand still and turn your face back to the audience and it wouldn't matter because, a show is happening. So don't think too much about it. Just know
there
that
you go.
hopefully it happens by the end of the year.
Yeah, totally.
As far as promotion goes for this record, I think you've done a fantastic job. Uh, I mean, especially like on Twitter, people seem to be loving it, and you're getting a ton of feedback. But with every Friday being this whole new crop of music coming, it becomes kind of easy to get lost in the mix.
Yeah.
Have you considered any new avenues to kind of keep up the hype past, the one Friday release?
Yeah, I mean, luckily, like, in a way, I'm rolling out the record digitally first, and then, the vinyl and CDs and cassettes and everything will be out in stores May 21st. So I think that'll have a new breath of life into things, and people like seeing the packaging is going to be, I think, like another like kind of transcendent experience for the record because it's just so cool. I was lucky enough to have Julian Gross design the the packaging. He's up for a Grammy right now for his group Love work and stuff like
Oh,
that.
cool.
He rules. He played in Liars for a long time, the drummer, and he's done a bunch of stuff for Yeah Yeah Yeahs and many projects with me as well. So I'm excited for that, and I'm trying to put together kind of a variety show, kind of not like a live stream, but something sold kind of like that, where some of
Okay.
it's live, some of it's like choreographed dance routines with like multiple people, and some of it's just like fun fake commercials and stuff like that. So it's something that we can like sell tickets to, that everybody tweets along, but I want everybody to get a digital copy of it with their ticket so that they can keep it forever. So, because I feel like a lot of live stream kind of things that people put a lot of work into just sort of go up for a week and then just sort of disappear. And
Absolutely.
I think if we put extra work into it, it can be kind of more of a time capsule that we can keep forever. So
Totally. I think
yeah,
that's a great idea, and definitely like keeping up with, like it is. It's every Friday, one thing comes, and then what's the hot new thing? So kind of keeping
yeah,
up with it and staying active it's the most important thing right now.
totally.
I did want to talk about the vinyl though.
Yeah.
I failed three separate times
Oh
trying to
no.
get no, we're good. Three separate times trying to get the limited edition colored ones.
Yeah.
Minutes after you post, they'd go out, or I'd be too late and be busy doing something else. Finally,
Yeah.
though, I did pick up the black vinyl on Bandcamp Friday
Okay.
this week. So I'm
Sweet.
really personally excited to get it, and especially the packaging is, supposedly going to look pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you got one. The black vinyl will be like,
It's fine. It's
it'll be
classic.
available all the time. And also May 21st, when records are in stores, there's going to be one more limited edition one that's 500 copies of a clear pink with red opaque swirl in it. So those are going to be in indie stores only, and Fat Beats is distributing it. So if you want to talk to your local record store about ordering that from Fat Beats, you should let them know and get your copy, because, and I'll be kind of posting where you can find that and pre-order from certain stores and stuff like that. But it should go out kind of equally to all over the place, worldwide. So.
Awesome. Well, I'm always happy to support in any physical form of media, so I'll definitely be looking out for that.
Awesome. Thank you.
I've just got a couple more for you. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but so specifically on Roseville, you know, I'd say spanning your entire discography, your lyrics are always clever, or you kind of border that line of comedy and fun and seriousness. Is there a specific set of lyrics on Roseville that you're most proud of?
I really think opening it with Solid Ghost, with There Was a Time, I felt less human and more like a solid ghost, was kind of like the vibe of the record. And
profound.
the way that it kind of like within like seconds, I just wanted it to like kind of hit you in the gut first and make you like, oh shit, this is not all fun and games. And then, you know, 20 seconds later, it's like this kind of like Meatloaf meets Springsteen kind of pop bop. So
now that's what got my mom hooked. She was like, what the hell? This is amazing.
Yeah. So I just kind of wanted to like juxtapose those two kind of vibes right away, and then let you know kind of where it's going to go, you know. And I feel like just the first 40 seconds of the album will kind of tell you everything you need to know about the ride you're in for.
It's true, though. It definitely sets the tone for sure. All right. Well, I want to wrap things up here by sincerely thanking you for taking the time to speak and for supporting, you know, the Little Guy music blog.
Oh yeah.
And for helping get our name out there. You have no idea how much it means. You've made my life considerably more joyous because of your music. I seriously mean that. Is there any last kind of parting message that you'd like to relay to the viewers or listeners, or how everyone?
You know, I think just it's a really awesome time to make music and get it out there and just like and do it yourself independently. If you know, there's no like kind of system in place anymore. So it's just a good time to like do it however you want. Just like roll out a record how you would want to do it if you're making music, and how you would like to see it happen. And I think that really like connects with people the most. And I'm just really appreciative of the support I've gotten so far, and yeah, I just thank everybody who's listening to the record and supporting, you know, independent stuff and my weird whims along the way.
Fantastic closing statement. All right, man. Thank you so much again. I sincerely hope you have a great rest of your day. And,
yeah, you too.
Give Figgy some pets for me.
I will. He's like,
awesome.
Just expecting. He's just staring at me right now.
Just like, can you stop, Dad?
All right.
All right. Thanks so much again, man. Have a great rest of your day.
I'll talk to you soon.
Bye bye. Yeah, dude.
Bye.
Definitely. Bye bye.